Hi folks, welcome. I'm recording this for CWP101. I have two different sections, so I'm using the same video for both. In one section, Blackboard decided not to save my video. In the other section, we had audio difficulties and we couldn't even have the class. So I'm going to kind of record this intro to the course here so you know kind of what you need to know to get started. So on that note, why don't I just get started? So here's the things I'm going to cover. First, campus resources. With everything going on in the world, I think it's more important than ever that you know about these resources. On the syllabus, you'll find links to the Weigel Health Center, the Counseling Center, an IT help desk, So if you need to use those things, the information's on the syllabus. Please make good use of them. Another thing we'll talk about is just how the class will work. I sent out emails about this already. It's very clearly indicated at the beginning of the syllabus, which I'm going to be going through in a moment. I'm going to go through that. I'm going to go through the materials you need. Essentially, you don't need anything. Everything's on Blackboard for free. One other note, you don't want to use the Blackboard app on your phone. It just doesn't work very well. If you're using your phone, you want to use Google Chrome web browser and then open up Blackboard from there. Don't use the Blackboard app. It doesn't work. Blackboard has serious difficulties, which we experienced today. If you have technology needs, so you're going to have a computer that works. You're going to have internet access. If you have problems with any of those things, you need to let me know. The course calendar is the most important thing. All the assignments and due dates are up there. I'm going to show you how all that works. Contacts, best way to contact me is email, so on and so forth. I'll go through that. I have to go through the attendance policy. I have to go through the plagiarism policy, late work and extensions policy. I'll show you what you're going to be evaluated on in the course. And I also want to show you the questions and concerns discussion forum on Blackboard, because that's where I'd like you to direct general questions about the course from this point forward, so that we can answer them kind of together as a group. And so we're not just doing it kind of one person at a time. It should be easier for everyone if we do things that way. And so here's the syllabus. This might not be your CRN, but it's two sections of the same class. They're just broken into two different sections. So it's the exact same syllabus for both classes, so don't worry about that. The same will be true when I go onto Blackboard. It might show a different CRN, but it's the exact same thing in both. First thing I wanted to say is welcome to Buff State. Welcome to CWP101. Welcome to Buffalo if you're not from Buffalo. And I also wanted to say I hope everyone's doing okay. I mean, the world is in kind of rough shape. Hopefully, can only get better from here. But I hope everyone's doing okay. I included the link to the counseling center in the syllabus at the beginning, because it's never been more true that it's okay to not be okay with everything happening today. I don't want to go any further details into it. But I hope everyone's okay. If you feel like you need the counseling center, it's there for you. The school makes it available to you for a reason. So I'd encourage you to use it if you feel like you could use it. But I hope everyone can hang in there. My goal is to get us through this. It's not perfect. I can be a bit more flexible than I normally would be. I'm going to keep in mind how extraordinary this situation is. So the key thing I want to communicate, the most important thing is we all need to communicate about how things are going. So if you're confused, if you're overwhelmed, so on and so forth, let me know, and we can discuss, we can negotiate. I can make adjustments if need be. I tried to simplify the course somewhat so that it wouldn't be too overwhelming. It's still the same course, it's just I tried to simplify it a little bit what I normally would do, given the circumstances we're all going through now, and we've already had technology issues on day one. So, but communicate with me. That's what I'm here for. Okay, and so I already sent this out. I won't kind of beat the dead horse, but the way this will work. So we're obviously not meeting in person. It's all online. Here's how things will go. We're going to have some virtual classes. We experienced difficulties today, so I'm a little skeptical about how that's going to work. But anyway, we will meet. We'll meet at least like once a week or something like this. We'll also have one-on-one conferences between you and I individually. That's a mandatory part of the class. The virtual classes will be recorded if Blackboard works. I mean, Blackboard didn't work today. But anyway, I'll get that information out to you. The virtual classes are marked on the course calendar. And so if you go down to page 3 of the syllabus, you'll see the course calendar here, and you'll see a virtual class. It's highlighted. And then the next one will be September 9th, Wednesday, September 9th. And it kind of got cut off there, but you can see it on the next page. And so it's going down the syllabus, every time we have a virtual class, they'll usually be on Mondays. Every time we have a virtual class, it's marked there, it's highlighted. And I'm going to remind you of this. I'm going to be giving you all kinds of reminders. I'm going to try to make everything as clear as I possibly can. I'm going to respond to all your emails if you have confusion. So we just got to keep communicating through Blackboard, through email, and so on. And I think we should be okay. So there are virtual classes. They won't be every class period. They will be about once a week. Okay, number 2, all coursework is on Blackboard. All materials are on Blackboard. The only thing for the semester you're not doing on Blackboard is the first email. I want you to send me an email by Wednesday acknowledging that you've read the syllabus and you understand all course policies. Everything else for the course is going to be submitted through Blackboard. All course materials are free and they're available through Blackboard. You'll be able to see all due dates and all assignments on the course calendar, as I just kind of showed you. I'll go through this in more detail in a minute. And finally, office hours. My office hours are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 to 1:50 p.m. And they'll be in our virtual classroom in Blackboard that I think you've all accessed already. Okay, so the best way to get in touch with me is email. I always respond to student emails. I don't ignore student emails. So if you send me an email and you don't get a response within 24 hours, send me another one. I might not have gotten it. It might have slipped by me. I'll never be offended if you send me another email, if I haven't got back to you. So I will always respond to your emails. So if you don't hear from me, send another one. For the phone, it's a Google Voice phone number. You can use that for emergencies and for conferences or office hours if you don't want to use Blackboard. Okay, and on Blackboard, I'll show you Blackboard in another video in more detail. But on Blackboard, you'll find a tab called Questions and Concerns Discussion Board. And so if you could post all general questions about the course there, I'll answer them there, and then everybody in the course can see them there. If you have personal questions, you can direct those to me through email, so you don't have to share them in public. Okay. So I'm going to kind of skip around through the syllabus in Blackboard a little bit to kind of cover the most important things first so that you have those. So the most important thing is the course calendar in Blackboard. So we're going to skip right to there. It's on page 3. It starts with course content. As you'll see, all the assignments are listed very clearly. And so the assignments are due on the day posted. And unless otherwise noted in Blackboard, they're due at the beginning of our class period, whenever that might be. For example, let's take a look at week 1. So for today, you should read the course syllabus. And then for Wednesday, you've got 3 kind of smallish type of assignments. One is an introduction email to me, where you're going to write a professional email and you're going to acknowledge that you've read the syllabus, understand all course policies, so on. Number 2, there's icebreaker discussion. That's going to be posted in the icebreaker discussion. I'll show you this in a second. There's a CWP survey. It just gives me some of your preferences, some information about you. And so if you could please finish that by Wednesday so I can kind of personalize the class for kind of what you need. Also on Blackboard for Wednesday, there's a narrative essay assignment. I like to get started with the first essay as soon as I can, and a student example. And if you can read those for Wednesday so you know what the first assignment is. They're 2 very short videos. One will tell you how to write an email in a professional way. The other one is just kind of really basic setup of a MLA paper. And so those are the assignments for Wednesday. And then Friday, you've got the first chapter from the online textbook, which is in Blackboard. So why don't I switch over to Blackboard and show you where all this is there. So what I'll do, I'll put this in preview mode so you can see it. And so Blackboard Collaborate, there might be glitches, there might be difficulty, but when it comes to everything else on Blackboard, it works well. It actually does work well. Blackboard Collaborate is a work in progress. We had problems today, but everything else works in Blackboard. So when you get to Blackboard, this is what you'll see. To access all the course assignments, all the course content, you're going to go to weekly modules over here, if you can see that. And so here it is. Open it up. Everything's broken down by week. So when you look at your syllabus and you see week 1, what you'll do is you go to Blackboard and you'll see week 1 and you'll click right there. And you're going to see everything that's listed on the syllabus. And other than the introductory email, everything you're also going to submit through Blackboard. So for example, for the discussion post, this is the prompt. This is the instructions. You'll open it up. You'll create your own thread, and then you will respond to your peers. And so we've already got a bunch of people. Great work. Awesome job. We've already got a strong start here, despite the technical difficulties. So kudos to you for getting this done despite the technical difficulties. Okay, the CWP survey is just going to ask you a series of questions. Should only take a minute to do. The narrative assignment, narrative student example, the 2 videos. These are some instructions here on using the online textbook. And then the first chapter from the online textbook is here, the writing process module and quiz. I wrote some instructions here. Let me know if you have difficulty with this, if you have any questions. I might make a separate video later to explain that more. But it's pretty intuitive. It should work pretty well. So that's how it'll work. And then you'll just do this week by week. And for every week, you'll find the same thing. Oops. So week 2, for example, Frederick Douglass. This is the reading, the questions, and then this is where you'll submit the questions. And then we've got another chapter from the online textbook here. And if you go to the syllabus, you will see that's what's in there. So I'm not going to go any further into it, but week by week, that's how it's going to work. So I hope that is clear. And then you kind of go down the line. Don't get overwhelmed by the whole semester of stuff. All you need to worry about is the upcoming due date. If you want to jump ahead, you're welcome to, but you're not required to. If you follow the course calendar day by day and you always keep up with everything, I think you'll find, as most of my students do, that you're never going to be overwhelmed at any time. It's going to be reasonable, a reasonable amount of work if you're keeping up with it. Okay, so let me know if you have questions about that. so I want to jump ahead to some important policies that you need to know. I'm not going to read everything from the syllabus, but the first one is attendance. So the virtual meetings are required. I'm going to save them as recordings. So you're responsible for knowing the information that I kind of give in those meetings, but there's no penalty if you can't attend them or if we have technical difficulties. But the way I'm going to calculate attendance is by engagement with course material. And so when you see down here in this penalty for non-attendance, what it says is attendance is calculated by kind of whether or not you're submitting assignments. So if you submit an assignment, there's going to be at least one assignment per week. If you submit an assignment on a given week, you get credit for attending that whole week. If you submit 0 assignments for a whole week, you're marked absent for that whole week. If you miss more than 3 weeks, meaning you're completely inactive in the course for more than 3 weeks, then you're not going to be eligible to pass. Simply because if you miss 3 weeks of assignments, you're not going to be able to get a C in the class, and you need to get a C to. If you don't get a C, you have to repeat CWP courses. So that's the policy. Let me know if you have any questions. If you think it's not fair, let me know. I think I tried to be as generous as I could. So another thing about attendance. So with everything going on in the world, it's understandable that some people might have emergencies, life crises. Hopefully nobody gets sick. If you get sick, if a major thing happens, it's going to prevent you from doing course work. You really need to reach out to me and let me know. Because if you reach out to me and let me know, there are a lot of options we have for things we can do to help you get around that without having to like fail the course or withdraw from the course. But you have to let me know, because if something big happens and you're not participating for like 6 weeks, and then you tell me later on that something came up, there's not much I can do for you. Then you've got to communicate that to me when it happens. You don't have to give me the details. You can just tell me, I'm having an emergency. I can't do this right now. And then we can take it from there. If that does happen, what you want to do is get in touch with the dean of students, let them know what's going on, and then they'll document that situation officially, and they'll let all your professors know what's going on, and they can even recommend to your professors that they excuse you for certain periods of time. It's up to your individual professors whether they want to follow that recommendation. I will follow it. If the dean recommends that I excuse you. So anyway, the key thing is communication. If something happens, please let me know. I always check my email. I always respond to my email. So I'm here. Communicate with me. Okay. Let me know if anything about that is not clear. Okay, academic integrity and plagiarism is a big one we have to talk about. I don't expect anyone to plagiarize. I've had very, very, very few cases of intentional cheating, plagiarism. But I have to have a policy about it because it's a serious thing when people cheat in college. So anyway, I don't expect you to do it, but I do run your papers through plagiarism detection software, just so that if I have to accuse someone of plagiarism, I have evidence, and I'm not just kind of randomly saying, I don't think you wrote this. That's why I do it. It's not because I'm trying to catch you in some little mistake and throw the book at you. I'm never going to throw the book at you over a little mistake. And so another thing it says there, it says there's a difference between intentional plagiarism and unintentional plagiarism. Intentional plagiarism is when you copy and paste something from the internet and you pass it off as your own. That's really serious. I have to report that to the department. I have to give you a 0. I don't want to do any of that. I really don't. So, I don't expect anyone will do it. I don't think it'll be a problem. But anyway, that's really serious. Unintentional plagiarism is when you miss a citation, you maybe borrow a little bit too much language on accident. Okay, I'm not going to throw the book at you over that. I might take some points off, but that's a different thing. So don't think that I'm going to sit here with this detection software and try to catch you in a little mistake. I'm not going to do that to you, okay? The plagiarism detection software is only so that I can catch and have proof of really serious, egregious cheating. And I don't expect anyone to do that, so I'm not worried about that. So just so you know, those are the policies there. Okay, that takes care of that. So I'm going to run through some other stuff. I'm not going to read the whole syllabus to you, but right here, the Writing Center. The Writing Center is tutor for writing. You can use it in this class. You can use it in any other class. Actually, professors also use it to help them with their writing. So it's just an amazing service. There are detailed instructions about how they're doing this online. Another thing about the Writing Center, if you go there, I'll give you extra credit for going there. The only thing about that is when you go there, they're going to ask you, do you want us to send a report to your professor? And you want to say yes if you want to get the extra credit, because they just document that you were there. And all they do is they say, this student was here, they worked with this tutor, they worked on this thing, and that's all they tell me. There's nothing personal, it's nothing judgmental. It's just a documentation that you were there so that I can punch in that extra credit for you. So the Writing Center is great. It's great to get to know it. I'd recommend that you do so at some point, if not in this class, in another class. Late assignments and extensions. So my policy with late assignments, I'll accept them for 1 week after the original due date, and that's the final deadline. I will not accept them after that. I'm just too busy to be going back weeks and weeks and trying to grade things that were due weeks ago. I just can't do it. So that's my policy. I hope you think it's fair. If you have any problems with that, let me know. For every day an assignment is late, there's a 10% deduction from the grade. For the major essays, we've got three major essays. I'll give you one extension for the semester. You just have to request that extension before the due date, and then we'll come to an agreement about when that would need to be in by. I'm not going to give you like a month extra. I'll give you maybe a few days a week. That's about the limit. But I will give you one extension on a major paper. I don't do makeup work. Okay, grading criteria, what would we be graded on? So we've got the textbook modules and quizzes. Each study plan is worth 5 points. Each quiz is worth 15 points. You have 2 chances at the quiz, so if you don't do very well the first time, you can take it again. There are other homework assignments that are worth 10% of your final grade. The narrative essay is worth 20% of your final grade. Compare and contrast essay is worth 20% of your final grade. Literature review is worth 20% of your final grade. And there's a shorter reflection essay at the end, and that's worth 10% of your final grade. So it should add up to about 1,000 points. I'll divide the points you earn by the point total. I'll get an average, and then I'll convert the average to a letter grade. Below here, they explain what all the letter grades mean. And another thing about grades, you can always see your average by going to Blackboard and going to My Grades. So I want to show you that. Over here, Blackboard, yada, yada, yada. Student Resources, My Grades, click here. And you'll see the course average. This is your average. And then you'll see all the different assignments and what you got on the assignments. And you'll also see for the essays, you'll see a bubble. And the bubble will have my comments, because I leave feedback on both of your drafts, your first drafts and your final drafts of each essay. I'm going to leave you feedback, so that'll be there. So you'll always know what your grades are. Okay, let's see what else. I guess I'm going to go back upwards. Yeah, so there's no materials to buy. Course materials, everything's free. It's on Blackboard. I already communicated this, but you're going to have a computer that works, and you're going to have internet access. If those things are a problem, please let me know. There's some things we can do to try to fix that. Recommended supplemental materials. You have free access to Microsoft Office. I'd highly recommend you download it, since you're getting it for free through the school. Blackboard, everything is through Blackboard. Super important that you resolve any login issues with Blackboard. Email, you've got to use your Buff State Gmail account. That's where all the communications are going to come through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send out my communications as announcements that are also sent out as emails. So you'll get them in your email box, and you'll also be able to check them under announcements in Blackboard. And so if you look at Blackboard, you go to announcements here, you'll see these are the emails I've already sent out. And it'll all be recorded there. So every course communication will be recorded here, and you'll also get it in your email right away. So you've got to use your Buff State Gmail account. Don't use your personal email account. It'll go in my junk folder. You won't get all the communication. You really want to use that Gmail account. If there are any login issues with Gmail or Blackboard, you got to get those taken care of quickly. I've got the help desk, their information here for that. So any issues with that, let me know. Email etiquette, the first assignment is going to have you write an email to me. You really want to follow these instructions carefully. I've had a few people do it, and they didn't really, follow the instructions carefully. It's super important that you're, even in the first week, that you're kind of mastering the professional email. It's not extremely difficult, but it's going to be extremely, extremely important when you communicate with your professors and when you communicate with work in the future. Professors get super grumpy when students send really informal or unclear emails because, they don't know who it is or how to respond. So it's pretty simple. You want to have a subject heading that tells your reader kind of what the email is about. You want to have your course and section. The CRN you can find on your schedule. You can find it on Blackboard. You want to include that so people know which section you're in. You want to have a concise but clear message so that people know what it is you're asking. People are busy and people don't have time to read, 5,000 word emails. So keep it straight and to the point. Keep it simple. And then you want to have a salutation and closing. And the video goes through all this. A salutation is just, "Dear Professor Collins," or whatever, comma. And then you put a space and then you start the body. And then after the body, you put your closing, "Sincerely, comma, so-and-so, best, comma, so-and-so." That's all it really is. It doesn't really take that long to do. And this is why people get grumpy when you don't do it, because it's really not that difficult to do. So please pay attention in detail with that and do that correctly. And if you're not doing this, I could overlook your emails potentially. And it could just be because I don't know who you are or what you're asking. And I'm busy. So, the more work I have to do, the more grumpy I'm going to be about, having to figure things out that you could have communicated simply in your email. Okay. I think that might cover everything I had. And so there's student learning outcomes. You can read these. This is a writing course. It's an intro to writing course for college. So the whole course is built around going through 3 essays and helping you discover strategies that work for you to produce high quality writing. So that when you get to other classes, you'll be able to produce high quality writing, and so that you know the process you need to go through to do it. We're also going to introduce you to the college library, a little bit of research, because you're going to need to know that moving forward as well. And that's kind of what the course is built around, as you'll see. And also, reading too. Reading is pretty important in college, and so we're going to cover that as well. That's basically it. You can see the details there. The intellectual foundations, those are the learning outcomes for the Gen Ed the Gen Ed curriculum. It's really great. I'm not going to go through it because this video is already way too long. But this is really awesome, I think. Just all these things of what it means to be an educated person. And, what I will say is, one of the things about education, it's not just job training. It's about your quality of life, your ability to think for yourself, your ability to make arguments and influence the world around you, your ability to think critically and not believe anybody's BS, not get fooled by anyone. So education is about more than job training. Education is about your ability to be, a strong person in the world who can participate in the world and influence the world. And that's kind of what all these outcomes are about. And so that's a big idea. You know, this is why these are the learning outcomes of the whole, you know, general education curriculum. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a different video to show you around our Blackboard page. And just as I sign off, especially because we had technical difficulties this first week, please don't be shy about asking me questions. I promise you, I'm never going to get grumpy about people asking me questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. With everything going on, with how challenging this all is, I'm never going to get impatient with your questions. So if you're confused, if you're overwhelmed, let me know. We'll discuss it, and I'll try to get you on the right path as soon as I can. Okay, so I'm sorry we had technical difficulties. We'll be in touch soon. Our next virtual class will be Wednesday, September 9th during our normal class time. I showed you the assignments for the week. I'll be in touch with you through email and through Blackboard this week. So good luck with the first week. Hopefully things go a bit smoother moving forward. We'll be in touch shortly. It's nice to meet you all. Good luck and Godspeed.